It takes less than 30 seconds to thank God. Just thank Him for everything you got, everything you have, everything you've been through. That's what made you who you are today. It takes less than 30 seconds. You can walk, you can talk, you can hear, you can see, you can smell, you can feel. That's enough to thank God. The worst words that any human on this planet will ever hear is depart from me. You understand what that means? Depart from me. That means separated from God for eternity. Our minds can't even stretch how far eternity is. Oh my God. Eternity. We gotta try to make it right while we can. Ain't nothing on this planet worth being separated from God.
Today we're going to be in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, speaking about a mother of two who tragically lost her life on the morning of April 13th, 2026. What should have been a normal workday for 38-year-old Victoria Alexander turned into a nightmare at the Excelcare Rehabilitation Facility where Victoria worked as a nurse. When she arrived at work that morning, she was unaware that someone would be waiting for her, and that person had laid out a devilish plan to take her life. 38-year-old Victoria Alexander was living out her dreams after working hard for many years to become a certified nurse. She was originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but was raised up in Millville, New Jersey, where she attended Millville Senior High School. Before completing school, she would meet and fall in love with a boy by the name of Brandon Alexander. The two were high school sweethearts, and Brandon was just a few years younger than Victoria, whom many called Tori. After high school, Victoria attended Rowan College in South Jersey, and by the time she was 20, she and Brandon welcomed their first son together, who is now 18, and almost 4 years after that, they had their second son, who was almost 15 years old. Both of the two looked to be great parents, and Victoria's greatest joy was being their mother. Just like any other family, the couple worked and did their best to provide a good life for their two sons. And as the years went by, the pair appeared to be more and more in love. When Victoria was not in mommy mode or working, she enjoyed dancing and making TikToks. Life looked to be going good for the family of four, and just a few years back on November the 11th, 2022, Victoria announced that she had finally finished nursing school and she was officially Nurse Brown. The road to become an RN was not an easy one, but she was so grateful for making it to the finish line. Her graduation was January 13th, 2023, and according to her, she hated every bit of school, but she knew the day would come when she would get pinned as a nurse. By this point, her and Brandon were going strong for almost 17 years, and the two would get married just a short time after. In the family's downtime, they enjoyed taking trips with their boys, family fun nights, and making new memories to last a lifetime. Moments that their boys could look back on and appreciate. For Victoria, family was a big deal, and even though her husband was her better half, her sons were her first loves and the best part of her. By the time their 20-year anniversary of being together came around, in the fall of 2025, Victoria posted this video, and the song she chose said, "He is still the man for me and still the man of my dreams." She also wrote, "My forever endeavor." However, within months, over 2 decades together, and more than half of their life together, something changed for the worse. Now, from the looks of things, sometime around March 2026 is when Brandon was reposting other people's TikToks that appeared to show that he was going through something that was weighing on him heavily. The last TikTok post where he seemed like himself was on March 9th, but every post after that was a desperate cry out for help, and it was clear that he was in a bad place mentally. Under one of his posts where he said, "I can't no more," a person responded and said, "It's not over. The pain is real. God is even more present, especially in the quiet storms. Stay strong, brother. Stay prayed up. I'm praying for you as well, soldier." In another post, he wrote, "I'm okay with not being here anymore." And someone under that post said, "I would be lying if I said it gets better because we're not God. Live though. You'll gain strength when you see yourself live through what you thought you couldn't." So people were trying to encourage him and lift him up and let him know whatever he was going through, he could get past. Brendan, however, continued to spiral down more and more, writing things like, "I'm at war with my soul and my consciousness, broken beyond repair. It's over. I did all I could. I tried my hardest. Remember that." And his very last post he made said, "My last ride." In this video where he said "my last ride," what was not known at the time was Brendan was on his way to Victoria's job. Now, even though he didn't come right out and say that the pair were split up and he wanted her back, it was obvious that the two most likely separated here recently. Brandon was said to have arrived at Victoria's job a few hours before her shift in the early morning hours of April 13th. However, at the time he filmed the video inside of his vehicle, and no one was aware that he was waiting at her job, and no one knew what was going on until after what took place a few hours later. When Victoria showed up at her job, Brandon sadly had a disturbing plan in place. According to law officials, he blocked her vehicle in. He then got inside her car and left two S-side notes on the dashboard. At this point, a food delivery driver happened to pull up and needed Brandon to move his car that was blocking his path. Victoria took this opportunity to run from her vehicle into the building as she had to be scared for her life. Brandon then proceeded to follow her inside her job and would shoot her multiple times before shooting himself. Once EMT and law officials arrived, Victoria was tragically pronounced unalive at the scene, and Brandon was taken to a hospital where he later passed away.
We have breaking news on the deadly nursing center shooting in Atlantic County. Action News broke the story 24 hours ago right here. Police now say the suspect, identified as 35-year-old Brandon Alexander, shot and killed his estranged wife at the Excelcare Center facility in Egg Harbor Township. She's been identified as 38-year-old Victoria Alexander, who worked at the facility as a nurse.
Authorities say the gunman blocked the victim in with his car, and when she was able to run inside, he followed her inside, shooting her and then turning the gun on himself.
What Brandon did is inexcusable. Even if she decided to end their marriage in their 20 years together, she had that right. And if he didn't want to live no more, he shouldn't have involved her in his plan. This was the mother of his two boys, and now they lost their mother because of something that their dad did, and for them, they lost both parents. Did he not think about, through all of his pain and hurt, the heartache he would cause his own two sons, who are clearly old enough to understand everything? And it truly troubles my soul for how their lives will be changed going forward. It is beyond overwhelming the amount of black and brown women who are losing their lives at the hands of a man who claimed to love them, at the hands of a man that they have children with, at the hands of the man they married, and there's just no excuse, and it's not okay. It is almost an everyday occurrence, and it's very, very sad, and it's behavior that we should not become desensitized to. Taking someone's life is never okay. Taking your own life is not okay. And leaving loved ones to pick up the pieces is definitely not okay. My thoughts and prayers go out to their two boys and everyone else involved in this terrible situation who loved and cared for Victoria. Please don't forget to comment your thoughts and prayers as well. And hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.